all the fans, all the media, the Seattle Seahawks are indisputably the best team left. They had a stretch this year where they led a team 20-0 in the first quarter, another team 28-0 at half, and another team 35-0 at half. That's what Ohio State does to an FCS team. Sam Darnold got picked 4 times against the Rams, and they still almost won. Kyle Shanahan, 163 games as the San Francisco coach. 4 times he's been held under a touchdown. Twice in the last few weeks by Seattle. The roster has no holes. Even the special teams are really good. They get a pass rush without blitzing. Huge up front. Active linebackers. Outstanding elite corners. Playmaking safeties. On offense, you get power and speed and efficiency. They are young, they're dynamic, and there is one team left that is built to beat them in Seattle. One team only. The Rams. They might be able to do it because they play such a clean, smart, efficient style of football. They don't make as many mistakes as the Seahawks do. They're not as penalized as Seattle. They're not going to make the turnovers that Seattle does. They're a cleaner version. Are they as good a version? Well, look at these numbers. This is how crazy it is. The Rams and Seahawks have played twice, each with a win. The Rams have scored 58 points. The Seahawks 57. The Rams have 830 total yards. The Seahawks have 829. I mean, folks, we all knew this. I mean, about week 7 or 8, didn't you look at yourself and think, okay, Green Bay is falling apart physically, and so are the Niners. And Philadelphia couldn't get their offensive act together. And Chicago was really good, but it felt like maybe the defense was a year away. And then there's the Panthers. Child, please. This Seattle team in Seattle, cold and wet. I mean, they have made Christian McCaffrey disappear twice in the last few weeks. Disappear. The Rams are the number 1 scoring offense. The Seahawks are the number 1 scoring defense. It will be best against best. And in my opinion, the 2 best young coaches in football at the helm. McVay's the best coach, arguably in the league, certainly the best young coach. Seattle said, you know what? McVay and Shanahan are in this division. We're not going to hire the 3rd best offensive guy. We're going to go get a defensive guy, Mike McDonald, and he is the defensive version of McVay. Handsome, tough, culture builder, respected, player-friendly, holds players accountable while being that. So I've said this all year with Seattle. Turn the sound down and watch them play. Don't listen to the announcers or the crowd. Turn the sound down. They don't look like any other team. It's like you get the Texans defense with a more dynamic offense.
Yeah. I am so fired up right now, Seattle Seahawks fans. I am so fired up. First off, Colin can't be saying, we've known this for a while, because no, man, there is a lot of pushback on the Seattle Seahawks. There is a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. Colin said that they weren't even going to beat the Washington Commanders because they had to fly cross country. He's like, they're too sloppy. They can't beat the Commanders because they got to fly from Seattle to Washington. I was like, what? And so there was a lot of doubt. Let's not pretend. Let's not everyone jump on that bandwagon now. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But I am so pumped. And to me, going up against the Rams was always a team that was going to be the biggest reason why you either win or don't win a Super Bowl. To me, that was always the hardest matchup. Always, always, always. Always, always. Before I get any further into it, Seattle Seahawks fans, you've been amazing all season long. We have literally built an entire fan base on this channel with Seattle Seahawks, and it's been amazing. Honestly, it's been really such a, I don't know if ground roots movement is the right way to put it, but like I've seen it be literally non-existent to being true. And it's been awesome because I was making Seahawks videos earlier in the year and nobody was watching them and it was driving me crazy. And I reached an absolute breaking point. I got to go back and watch that video because I reached a breaking point and I was just like, will you please watch the videos? Can you guys watch the full length of the videos? Can you guys subscribe? That when you guys do that, views go through the roof, subscribers go through the roof. And you did. Like literally it did. When you guys subscribe while watching the video and watch the full length of the video, Like, this is what happens. And I was just like, this is insane. This is incredible. This is amazing. And literally overnight, we were able to finally start making Seattle Seahawks videos that we were able to actually have conversations. Because again, it's not about chasing views. It's not about chasing subscribers. It's about being able to make Seahawks content that people genuinely want to watch. They genuinely want to discuss. And so we can have real, unbiased, grounded conversations. And so all I can ask is for you guys to please keep doing it. Please keep doing it. Please keep doing it. So we can continue this party, man. Like I really do try as hard as I can. And seeing Colin have this type of conversation right now is like, I got the chills. Listen, I believed in the Broncos with Bo Nix. I'm optimistic with what they can do with Stidham. I always said the two teams that are my babies are the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. And they're both in the conference championship game. So I feel great about that. I am a massive believer in Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford in the Los Angeles Rams. I said that team is probably the team that I trust the most. Not saying they're the best team, but I trust them the most to be able to get the job done, be able to call the right play at the right time, to make the right throw, etc., etc. And like, here we are right now, right? We got this mix. And I said Drake May is the quarterback that, if you're factoring in age and health and money, you pick Drake May over any other quarterback. Over a Mahomes and a Lamar at this point, when you're factoring in age. If you have to pick a quarterback for the next 10 years, then you'll get more juice out of, say, a Drake May at this point. And so to see these four teams now all in this championship game is like, it's pretty remarkable. But I find the Seahawks, what they're doing and what they've been able to accomplish, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I will always be a sucker for a Sam Darnold story. Always be a sucker for a Sam Darnold story and what the Seahawks have been able to build. I just think it's remarkable. Don't get me wrong, the Broncos got the whole Nick Foles, Stidham, never really got an opportunity, never really got a chance. Now he's got the opportunity to win a Super Bowl, right? Like, that's a pretty awesome story too, right? It's Nick Foles 2.0. So don't get me wrong. Drake May, he's football royalty. Matthew Stafford, he's football royalty. Sam Darnold was supposed to be, but like, his throne was taken from him. But like, he was a top pick, and he got, even though his career wasn't working out the way I wanted to, still got paid a lot of money. Still was a top pick in the draft. So just by virtue, you already got paid and all that. But he kind of meandered a little bit, and now Minnesota did not. They wanted him back, but at a huge discount, and they were kind of like, yeah, it was kind of, if you want to stay, take us. If not, it's been fun. And Seattle was like, we'll take you. And I just remember people ripped that conversation, ripped that move. And I'm going to go back and do some receipt keeping. I'm not going to do it in this immediate second, but there's a specific take about first things first. And I just remember it so vividly. Of what they said about this move, about Sam Darnold coming to Seattle and what Seattle is capable of doing. I remember it so vividly, and I just remember being like, you guys are so wrong right now. You are so wrong right now. But just every move, every decision Seattle has made. And I said this now months ago. Everyone kept saying, who do you think, once the Eagles fans started to realize their coordinating is in a bad spot, they were like, who do you think we should have hired? And I was like, Colin Cowherd. I was like, that's who you should have absolutely hired. Like, it was so obvious to me that he was great even with the Saints, but then their team fell apart with injuries. Always be aware that when something takes a turn and it's so heavily injury related, like, I'm not going to blame Clint Kubiak for not being able to figure out how to find his way through with a team that got decimated with injuries. I'm just like, I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire. I'm just not. It takes years and years and years to be a great enough coach to be able to navigate that skillfully. And everyone's praising Shanahan this year for doing it. Last year, he did not. They had a whole bunch of injuries and they couldn't find their way through it. This year, they had a whole bunch of injuries and they were able to get to the playoffs. It's impressive. And then they got smoked by the Seattle Seahawks. And I'll say this, and this is where I try so hard to be as consistent as I can so I'm comfortable making any positive or negative comments. And again, I dare you to try to find someone who spoke more positively about the Seattle Seahawks and believed them more when it was not the most popular view than me. I dare you to find them. But I'm not going to use the game against the 49ers as a reference point. I'm just not. That was such a mismatch, and I've said this so many times over, I guess at this point now, over a couple of years. When you blow out a bad team, and it's not that the 49ers are a bad team, but when you blow out a team that's clearly, I'll just say not as good as you, that only matters so much to me. Unless it's a Super Bowl win, right? And it's like a conference, or like right now, if you do it to the Rams, like, okay, that's impressive. But when a team is clearly like, they're just not on your level, blowing out a team does not mean to me that shows truly how great you are. It just doesn't. We've seen that again and again and again. We saw it with the Dallas Cowboys. We've seen it with the Detroit Lions. We've seen it again and again and again. Blowing out bad teams does not automatically mean, well, now you're a great team. And this is what I've said kind of through the playoffs, because we've been talking about this, whether through the live streams or in the videos, where it's just like, ultimately it matters. It doesn't matter anymore that you blew out the Seahawks, that you blew out the 49ers, or that you blew out the Falcons or the Commanders. None of that matters. How do you play against Los Angeles Rams? That's the only thing that matters right now. That is the only thing that matters right now. That is the only thing that matters. I firmly believe, outside of a Sam Darnold meltdown, where you're just like, this is so hard to watch, I feel so bad for him at this point. Outside of that, you will win the Super Bowl. You will win the Super Bowl, because even going up against the Patriots or the Broncos, I believe you can still, like, I don't think the margin of error would be, if only you didn't muff that punt, or, oh gosh, I can't believe you fumbled on the goal line. Well, that was it. The margin of error is so tiny. I don't think it is, because this defense is so great and this offense can be so explosive. So the only thing is if you have like a meltdown where Sam Darnold throws for 2 interceptions, gets sacked twice, strip sacked twice, and you're just like, this is too much to overcome. This is too much to overcome. But I think this Seahawks team is great enough that they can endure a missed field goal, right? A muff punt where now you scoop it up. Maybe you don't turn it over, but you get lit up, and now you're at like the 5-yard line. Like there's some matchups where I'm just like, man, that's the difference. The 49ers versus the Chiefs in 23. Christian McCaffrey fumbles the ball. I think it was the opening drive. It was a drive that they would gotten a field goal. Boom. Game's lost right there. Game's lost right there. Can't overcome it. Done. Muff the punt. Done. Can't overcome it. Nope. Can't overcome it. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes throws the interception. It's like, it's okay. We're good. We got a great defense. We're good. Kelsey's still cooking. We're good. Andy Reid's still cooking. We're good. You don't have to be flawless. Some teams don't have to be flawless. The Broncos, if you have a backup quarterback, you probably got to be flawless. I think the Patriots are an incredibly resilient team. And I think the Rams are an incredibly resilient team. I do. But with this defense especially, and this is what I really, 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 really want to drive home, because we saw it in this game against the 49ers. And again, this game got out of control kind of quickly, which immediately puts pressure on a team that's not good enough to be able to keep up. So that's how you also really get a lopsided score, because we saw them play each other before, and it wasn't that lopsided. So it's always a fine line between having a lopsided score like that and having, a closer score. If the defense can rise to the occasion and shut down Matthew Stafford and make his life miserable, you win the Super Bowl. I really, really, really believe that. I really do. Because, again, I'm a massive believer in Drake May. Massive, massive believer in Drake May. He is getting lit up in the playoffs in terms of, like, he's getting sacked. And he's still making awesome plays, and he can still use his legs. But if there's one team that can keep that disciplined and can make them actually pay, the Texans could not make him pay for the turnovers. The Chargers could not make him pay for the turnovers. That is a weakness that the Seahawks can absolutely use to their advantage. Matthew Stafford was not super accurate. Now, it was very cold, but he was not super accurate against the Bears. And the Bears did an awesome job of covering Puka and Devon. They did an awesome job, and they lit Matthew Stafford up a couple times, and he had 2 fumbles. He was just fortunate enough to be able to recover them. And he gave them 8 turnover-worthy plays. They could have been interceptions, and they could not come down with it. You make him pay for those moments. You make him pay for those moments. You win the Super Bowl. You make Drake May, and again, maybe it'll be Stidham. I don't know. I'm optimistic that game will be weirder than we think. But like you make them pay for those moments. You win the Super Bowl. Like, that should be the motto in the locker room. Make them pay, win. Make them pay, win. That's what it comes down to. Make them pay, win. Make them pay, win. I'm just going to keep saying that. I'm going to be a broken record. Make them pay, win. Make them pay, win. And you win it all. You have a parade in Seattle. And I get my jersey. So a fan told me that if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, he's going to buy me a jersey. You don't have to buy me anything. But it'd be pretty wild. Pretty wild. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Seattle Seahawks? Do you think they deserve to be the Super Bowl favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.